Is the Duchess of York Epstein scandal about to hit her in the pocket? Well, maybe. Let me explain why. The charities linked to Sarah Ferguson on Monday certainly moved quickly to distance themselves from her.
Quiet strings, archival shots of 1980s, London tabloids spinning flashbulbs, a young Sarah Ferguson smiling on palace steps, cut to empty corridors at Windsor, evening light through tall windows. To the outside world, she was the bright spark, laughter in a cathedral of protocol. But behind palace walls, the story was never that simple. Sarah Ferguson arrived with charm and a rebellious twang, and very quickly learned that attention, once given, always demands a price. Tonight, we revisit a claim that haunted her then and shadows her now. Whispers of an American lover, and rumours that the connection began while she was pregnant. The players are familiar, the timeline is contested, the consequences undeniable. Sarah Ferguson's shocking affair with American lover while pregnant, new allegations exposed.
The happiest divorced couple, as they describe themselves. She describes herself as being divorced to rather than divorced from him. I've heard her say on multiple occasions what a kind man he is, what a good father, what a good grandfather. But I think what's controversial in these comments is what she says about him being able to come out of the spotlight and get on with his life.
Wedding day highlights, cheering crowds, close-ups of military uniforms, cuts to naval ships leaving port. When Sarah married Prince Andrew, the fairy tale had an itinerary. She would smile, wave and wait for a husband often at sea, wait for courtiers to nod approval, wait for a press corps that could turn overnight. According to former staff, her calendar glittered with engagements, but her nights were quiet, the lodge echoing with absence. Graphic, calendar pages flipping, only a handful of dates circled. One insider described those years as a performance with no audience, a phrase that fits too neatly to ignore. She was doing the job, she wasn't living the life. Lower third, former equerry, name withheld. She didn't suit stillness, she suits motion. Sources close to the palace say the late 1980s were already a negotiation. A young duchess trying to be modern inside a system engineered to resist change.
Ready to go skiing.
Sad day for you?
Well, I would say that would be understatement. Yeah, very sad. Of course it's sad.
That's sweet, man.
Anyway, you're all going to leave us alone then today? Now? Please? I'll come.
Houston skyline at dusk, opera house exterior, hands clasping at a gala, champagne flutes, Texas freeways at night. Then came America, the place British royals visit when they need applause as warm as the weather. At a gala far from Windsor, Sarah encountered an American businessman whose confidence didn't flinch at titles. The press would later name him, we'll call him what he was in that moment, a mirror held up to a woman who felt invisible. From the first 5 minutes, he made her feel seen, claims a former arts patron who attended the same event. It wasn't starstruck. It was eye level. According to a biographer who tracked their meetings, the conversation didn't sound like court whispers. It sounded like oxygen, a private car door closing, hotel elevators, night city lights, and here is where the record blurs. Some allege the friendship turned romantic earlier than the palace ever conceded, whispering that the timeline overlaps with a second royal pregnancy. Those sources insist trips were arranged without drawing lines on the map. That phone calls grew longer, and that boundaries, shaky to begin with, simply didn't hold. Former Fleet Street editor, rumour moves faster than proof. To be clear, the allegation has always remained just that, an allegation. But the perception storm it created, that was real and relentless.
I'm on a patron for charities that are helping children, and this patron is openly friends with a known paedophile. And she knew he was a paedophile by that point. If you want to vomit.
I mean, there are certain things you can recover from, JJ, right? We had a prince that was involved in tampon dates, right?
Newspaper factory presses rolling, a photo contact sheet, red wax pencils circling a frame. If whispers are a match, pictures are gasoline. An American businessman seen around royal adjacent circles. The suggestion of familiarity. Then the photograph that jolted the narrative, a family moment interpreted as a boundary crossed. Once that image ran, phones didn't stop for 48 hours, recalls a retired picture editor. No one asked if it was innocent. They asked if it fit the story behind palace walls. The reaction was not theatrical. It was clinical. According to a former private secretary, the institution closes ranks. You don't workshop feelings, you triage reputations. And for Sarah, that's when the walls began to tilt.
These barrels for me.
Toe sucking. Who was this and just why?
It's 1992. Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, and Prince Andrew had been divorced for a few months. And Fergie rents a place in the south of France as she took her financial advisor, John Bryan, with her.
Empty nursery rocking chair, a ticking mantel clock, night rain on a window. Insiders would frame it as the oldest royal story, marriage to duty before marriage to each other. With a husband often away, days turned long and nights turned speculative. She was told to keep calm and keep busy, says one former lady's maid, but busy isn't the same as loved. A friend from that era claims the American's appeal was simple. He wasn't measuring her against the crown. He wasn't issuing etiquette corrections wrapped as kindness. He flirted, unabashedly, like a man in a room where titles don't translate. Was it an affair? The palace never dignified that word with an official response. The tabloids did it for them.
It's after on Sunday we saw that email she'd sent to convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein, which appeared to be a grovelling apology to him. She said she had to write it because she was being threatened by Jeffrey Epstein.
Summer coastline, paparazzi lenses, a sun-struck villa balcony, blinds half closed. When separation became formal, the fairy tale unclasped its final button. And then another American entered the frame, this time not in rumours, but in pictures that ricocheted around the globe. The shock of those images obliterated nuance. Whatever had been whispered about a different American at a different time felt suddenly plausible to a public no longer searching for benefit of the doubt. The palace plays a long game, headlines do not. And Sarah, ever the lightning rod, stood alone in the storm.
Not only that, but a pap found them and took photos of Brian sucking Fergie's toes, Fergie topless, and all of this happening while her two daughters, Princess Beatrice and Eugenie, were around. It was an absolute sensation.
Royal Lodge exterior, in soft rain, a table set for two, only one place used, book jackets, daytime TV sofas, charity podiums. Years turned into a peculiar détente, a modern kind of family, co-parenting with unusual closeness, holidaying with old tenderness, and still, always, the shadow of the past at the threshold. According to sources close to the family, there was genuine affection that never learned how to be married. And there was also the truth every royal learns too late. Reinvention is expensive, and the Crown does not issue refunds. From book deals to brand gambles, Sarah chased solvency and relevance like they were twins. Sometimes it worked, often it didn't. She's magnetic, says a former media booker, but magnets pull trouble too.
They are extremely damaging, and there'll be many who think, well, who are you to say you should just be allowed to get on with your life?
And also the question is, what kind of life is he or does she envisage his getting on with? Because obviously he can't get on with life as a member of the royal family and working royal.
Boardroom silhouettes, legal papers stacked, PR crisis, war room stock footage. Let's return to the assertion at the heart of today's story. The American lover, the pregnancy timeline, the allegation that refuses to die. Even if unproven, it altered the lens forever. Editors read every future headline through it. Courtiers weighed every invitation against it. And the public, who once adored the laughter, began to hear it as defiance. A palace aide summarized it bluntly. In this world, the first cut isn't the deepest. The first cut is the template once a narrative sets. Every new event snaps into its outline. Close-ups of handwritten notes, a mother's hand straightening a child's hair, closing a gate at dusk. For all the spectacle, there were small human prices. Apologies that never sound right when typed. Rooms one no longer enters. Friends who become statements. One insider described Sarah as a survivor without a map, a line so sad you can almost hear the echo in the halls where it was said. She wanted warmth, she got heat, and the burn marks lasted. Modern paparazzi on scooters, social media feeds scrolling, podcast microphones, TV panel shows. Decades on, the carousel still turns, new interviews, familiar topics, and each retelling dragging old rumors along like tin cans behind a car. The American lover, the timing, the what if that the tabloids feed like a slot machine. According to a former royal correspondent, every time she steps back into the light, the newsroom question is the same. Do we reframe the past, or does the past reframe her? The answer is obvious. It always has been. Ariel of Windsor, a guard changing, an empty chapel aisle, dawn over the Thames. The Crown survives scandal because it remembers longer than we do. It files everything. It forgets nothing. And yet, its endurance demands characters like Sarah, the cautionary tales that prove the rules still rule. Behind palace walls, the lesson was archived. Charisma is currency until the bank closes. Outsiders must become smaller than the institution, or the institution will make them smaller. Sarah refused smallness. The public admired that until it didn't. So, was there truly an affair with an American lover while a royal baby was on the way? The official record will not satisfy you. It never does. But the allegation, true or not, cemented the image of a duchess living too loudly for a world that prefers whispers. Slow push-in on a closed palace door, cut to sunlight beyond an iron gate. To the outside world, Sarah Ferguson remains a paradox, the exile who still finds the microphone, the mother who won't apologize for being too much, the woman who tried to make a life from the same spotlight that scorched her. Sources close to the palace say there's acceptance now, if not approval, a recognition that history needs its unruly chapters to prove the book is worth reading. In the end, perhaps this is the truth she embodies. In a system built on appearances, the most unforgivable act is to make the private feel public. Whether the American rumor was reality or rumor refined, it taught the monarchy and all of us how fragile reputations are when desire, loneliness, and duty collide. What do you believe? Was Sarah Ferguson unlucky, or the architect of her own storms? Did the press invent a narrative, or did she give them the blueprint? Drop your take in the comments. I read every single one. If you learned something new today, tap like and subscribe for more deep dive royal exposés that pull back the curtain on Britain's most controversial family. New episodes every week.